Yeah. I kick them all fucking going. Yeah. Live out the 718. It's the motherfucking kid, yo. What up, y'all? It's M3L, and we are back with another episode of the M3L podcast. First off, let me just thank everybody for all the love and support this far. It's really been overwhelming. I appreciate everybody. Like, the feedback has been crazy. So I just want to send some love and respect for that. And please do not forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can get quicker updates on the newest episodes when they drop. So now that we got that out the way, my guest this week is a good brother. He's doing a lot of work in the community, helping guys with second chances and stuff of that nature. So I wanted to bring him to the forefront to share his story, and I know he got some valuable information that can help somebody. Even if we just reach one person a day, we did our job. So without no further ado, let me introduce you to the bro, Andre Appacicio.
Almost.
I told you I might forget it once we started. So just get the familiar with you, bro. Now that I fucked it up.
Andre Appacicio, man.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes I forget my last name, bro.
Yeah.
But it's real. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for bringing me on, man. Just jumping into even how we met. I seen that my homegirl has shared some of your stuff, and that's just how I am. Community over competition. Even if I don't know you, I'ma share it.
That made me add you after that. Like, and then once I found out what you do, I was like, oh nah. That's when I hit you. Like, I got to get you up here, man. You could definitely share some valuable stuff, and I think it'll be real dope as far as what you do, and just for our community. I think the information you got is very, very valuable. So just so that the people could kind of get familiar, like, just give them a little background of like how you got to where you at and what you do, and you know what I mean.
Definitely.
Get them familiar.
I mean, well, just a little bit about me, Andre Appacicio, born and raised in Queens. Shit, got Queens tattooed on my back. That's just me. That's my community. That's my hood. Like everybody, like a lot of people, had a lot of issues coming up.
Right.
A lot of these things that I could have controlled, and then there's a lot of things that I was out of my control.
Right.
And I think that people don't speak to how things were set up and how things played out, and the fact that the lack of information that they had in our community.
Truth.
We're just getting on this therapist tip, but that shit's been in the white community since
forever.
The time. You understand? So, just to put that out there, not to make no excuses. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. Queens, South Side, North Side, just all over Queens, pretty much. I'm coming from a big family.
Right.
5 other siblings, you know what I mean? And, Papa's a Rolling Stone. So, it got crazy. But, when it boiled down to it, what pretty much got me to where I am now is just my experiences. And I don't take my experiences and be like, oh, man, I regret this. I still don't regret pretty much nothing that I did. What I do regret is the fact that I wasted my energy. Things that I did. That's what I do regret. Because just knowing that we here on some borrowed time.
Really though.
Like borrowed time.
Really.
I really did some things on borrowed time that it was like, bro, you could have been doing so much more. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I do what I do. I made some decisions, with my organization, it's a process. Our motto was better decisions, better outcomes.
That's strong.
Decisions that, I want to help people avoid. I ended up going to prison for 3 years for a gun charge, gang related, all of that. And I came up, on that charge, and ended up only getting 3 years and 5 years parole. But while I was incarcerated, I had to really do some self-reflection. And I think that what people fail to realize is a lot of people's like, oh yeah, prison is for rehabilitation. If you look at the word rehabilitate, it means to bring you back to what you once were. if you wasn't shit to begin with, you're not bringing back too much, and this is why you'll see the cycle. You understand?
Right.
This is why we have to do, when we see all this reform and reformation, that's what it's really about. It's really about breaking down and building up, and not breaking down in the negative sense. It's sometimes we got to chip away at the nonsense.
Really though.
Get to
Yeah.
the core of it, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because if you look at your life and you look at a human being like an onion, when you peel off that first layer, damn, that shit make you cry like a motherfucker. When you get to the core, the onion don't mess with your eyes. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's crazy.
And that's why I wanted to make sure that, like for me, it was really just about, look where we at now. We sitting up, Rikers Island, still gangbanging, still acting wild in prison, and you got your family looking at you like, oh, he just ain't nothing gonna stop him,
Right.
And I had to look at that. And one of there was two defining moments while I was incarcerated. One was one day I came down on a visit floor, and my grandmother had her wig off, and I'm looking, and I'm just like, Grandma, why you down here?
Look at
She said they made me take my wig off because it had too many pins in it. And I got furious. Like, what? I'm turning it up. Which one was it, Grandma? Yada, yada, yada. And she said, boy, if you don't sit your narrow behind down, she said, I can wear my wig at home. If you want to be comfortable, stay home. And then there was another instance when I went upstate. My nephew wanted to, if you ever been upstate, you know that you'll forget bars. If you cross certain lines, they're gonna say you're trying to abscond and run away and give you a new charge and a beat down to go with it. There's literally lines on the floor that you have to walk in, and if you step outside of that, it's like basketball. You out of bounds.
Okay.
So my nephew wanted me to bring him outside on the tree, and I couldn't. And he like flipped on me, like, when I ask Uncle Jeremiah to do stuff, he can just do it. Every time I come visit you in school, you can't never do nothing, things I want to do. And I'm like,
I want to hit home.
And the crazy part about that, though, Mel, is the fact that they're like, you do the crime, you do the time. They don't tell you your whole family do the time with you.
Yeah, that's truth.
And it's important we highlight that. You know what I mean? I watched my family go through it while I'm doing my bid. And they was going through it because of me, because of the unknown, because of all of these factors, because of this, because of that. So it's like, if I had anything to really say, it would really be to, we got to really make some conscious efforts. When we talk about consequential thinking, we're talking about the consequences of the things that we're thinking about and what we're doing. That's not a big thing because people are really reacting off emotion, and emotion
right.
is what people celebrate.
Not really thinking it out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my boy turned up. He turned up, and they're gonna turn his ass down in jail. You know what I mean?
And that's crazy you say that, because it's really true. Like, nobody's really thinking about the consequences. Like, it's just really, they just reacting, not realizing like this little moment could change your life forever.
Listen, my crime took me about 30 seconds to commit and 8 years to get out of. I ain't no mathematician. I ain't no gambler. That's terrible numbers where I'm from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's bananas.
And we got to bring these things to the forefront and bring it to the table, because like even when I came home talking to some of the OGs in the hood, I'm like, damn, y'all niggas never really gave us the real. Y'all just sat out here and watched us do the things you did and ain't say nothing.
Kind of egged us on.
You know what I mean? So I was really like, and to me especially, is I like to make sure that I highlight the things, because it's like, yo, we got to hold ourselves accountable.
Facts.
Right? When as I went and got on, when I finished parole, I actually became a counselor, a drug counselor. So if you've never been on parole, then you know that when you come home, you got to do some type of programming and stuff.
Right.
Continue to a program. I met a counselor there. She was working on her 3rd master's degree, but she had already did 25 to life for a body. Got a degree, 1 degree in jail, got 2 more out in the street. You know what I mean? And working. And she, she stayed close to me. She said, you know what, Dre? I feel like, for one, you speak like a young old nigga, like for real. Like, you just really got a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. And
ahead of your time.
Yeah, you know how to put this into perspective. And she really kind of put a lot of things into perspective for me. Because who do we really have to talk to in the hood?
Right.
Even if we're talking about therapy, we're talking about money.
Right. It's a select few. It's a select few. And you got to actually be careful who you take advice from.
That is like a whole nother episode. A whole nother episode. Because the people that people are following around, I just be like, this, like I had to tell him, you know, I was talking to somebody. Matter of fact, I was talking, it was a young kid. His mom called me up because I'm Crip, and she was just like, oh, my son's hanging around with Crips, yada, yada, blah, blah.
Right.
I mean, I let him know, like, yeah, listen, man, yeah, I'm still Crip, but I'm not like a gangbanger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Part of an organization, you know, and we're looking to do the right things. And that's the crew, that's the Crips I chill with. I don't know about nobody else.
And that's at the end of the day, that's what it was intended for.
And that's what we, you know, we plan on bringing it back to. But of course, you still have those that are,
Right.
you know, and I can't speak for everybody, nor should I have to. Like,
Right.
what are you doing? Just know that there's a difference. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And so I'm chopping it up with him. And I told him, I can guarantee you, your big homie probably don't even got a GED, but he telling you what to do and make life decisions.
Wow. That's powerful.
And I even went and I took it a step further because I had ended up, the crazy part is I've been to like, I want to say 7 high schools, 2 different states, 4 GED programs before I got my GED. So wild is an understatement, right?
Wow. That's
Wild is an understatement. So after all of that, I realized that, you know, it's the influence, the power influence. A lot of people say I'm a product of my environment. You hear
right.
that a lot. People throw that
You
around.
hear that a whole lot.
I'm not a believer because you're not a product of your environment. If you were, everybody in your environment would be the same. You're a product of your influences and who you keep around you.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
So bringing that to the forefront, it goes back to accountability and responsibility.
Mm.
There are other people. Ain't nobody told you to run with them.
Right. Because you could have followed this dude who did the right thing and he all right now.
You know, every block in the hood got some people that be outside, and then you got the ones where you just be like, yeah, you don't never see that nigga. He always in school, he working. You should have been following him.
You kind of actually clown him like he doing something wrong.
Right,
Facts.
right. So, you know, you look at that and you like, oh, man, you know? And these are all the little things that I learned along the way that I make sure that I try to deposit in anybody that I see and anybody that I speak to.
Right.
I think that we got to normalize just legit conversation, bro. It's not about just mentoring and counseling. Let's have a conversation. Let's get some dialogue going. What do you think about me saying that this nigga ain't got no GED, but he telling you what to do with your life and your freedom?
Honest dialogue at that.
let's be real about it. You know what I mean? So I think that with all the things that's transpired, and you know, going back to the counseling story, I ended up actually becoming a counselor because
right.
one, from that counseling, and 2, my boy had passed away. He before he passed away, he always told me he wanted me to be a counselor. He like, yo, Dre, you came home, you're doing different things now. I think you could take it a step further. So he passed away, and when I went to go speak to my counselor, I found out she passed away.
Wow.
And the interesting part about that was before she passed away, I had got a job on parole finally after like 50 fucking interviews, right? Got a job on parole, working. She told me, I want you to go to school for the counseling thing. There's a program that's going to pay for your school, full scholarship. I go to this program, do everything they said. I go to meet with the person that's supposed to give me the scholarship. And the dude tells me, you'll probably be better off working with your hands. Counseling is for old people.
Wow.
I mean, and you could only guess what he looked like. Right? So, of course, I went back, told him what they said. They bombed him. He wrote this whole notarized letter saying, I didn't say that. I told him I wanted to work with my hands.
That's his word versus yours.
You know,
Yeah.
it exposed the whole thing, yada, yada, yada. But I told her, you know, this is just how some of these white people are. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, you know, and I kind of shied away from the counseling thing until once my boy, like, passed away and all of that stuff, and I'm working, I'm like, I need to go to school. So an interesting part about that was I graduated from that program, right? I go back, counselor passes away. I'm speaking to the director. He says, yo, what is that office that you work at? Because I was doing cleaning services. I'm like, oh, it's on 37th Street. Yeah, I work on the 12th floor.
Right.
He said, yo, do you know our headquarters is on the 20th floor?
Wow.
I said,
what a coincidence.
He said, why don't you go holler at, you know what I mean, the exec and see what he say? So I stroll over there, mop bucket in hand, you know, pull up, catch the door while it's open. Hey, secretary, like, you here to clean? I'm like, no, I'm here to speak to Mr. Balmer. She's like, does he know you're coming? I'm like, no, I'm just stopping by, you know, just got a question to ask him. She's like, well, you can't just come in here. You gotta, I'm like, well, I just want to ask him a question. His door was open. He comes out and says, you want to speak to me? I said, Mr. Balmer, what's going on? He said, who are you? I'm like, I'm Andre. I was in this program, the staying out program.
Right.
I graduated. He said, come in, put your stuff down. So I started chopping up. I said, look, Mr. Varma, I'm trying to get into the school. I got denied the scholarship. The school's about 6 bands. I just need to find the school to get into. I got about 3 bands in the bank, and I can pay the rest off as I'm going to school. I really want to do this. I really need to do this. Now, prior to that, I had called around to like 5 schools. Nobody even called me back. Because usually with those schools, if you ain't got the scholarship, they don't think you're going to pay.
Right.
So they like, whatever, we'll call him back another time. He called the school, got in touch with a director, Mr. Turner, out of Exponents, and that school's in Battery Park.
Okay.
Turner said, why don't you pull up on me tomorrow? You say less. Pulled up on Mr. Turner, gave him the whole story, gave him the background, yada, yada, yo, I want to do this. I want to be a counselor, yada, yada, yada. So as I'm walking out the door, he goes, well, something tells me if I let you do this, that it's going to be more impactful. And whatever you got going on, you're going to bring it to fruition because you don't look like you playing. I said, I don't play no games. My father always told me, whatever you do it 100%. Otherwise, you're going to have regrets.
Right.
And whether I was in the street or not, that's just what I did, And so I went to school the next day. It was just supposed to be my little dry run, going in, doing my little notes and stuff, feeling. He's like, how you like it? I'm like, it's back. So in the middle of the day, I'm like, hey, look, let's talk about this business, man. Like, I'm here. I'm ready to start school. Patted me on my back and said, I'm gonna let you come here for free. Don't worry.
Wow.
I went to go thank Mr. Varma. Mr. Varma paid for all my books.
That's dope.
And I've been running ever since, bro. After
That's
that,
dope.
be another certificate where I'm a recovery coach.
Okay.
They gave me that. They let me take that for free. I went back and interned at the same program that I graduated from. They ended up giving me all types of awards and stuff that year. Then I ended up getting a job at another program, and it's just things just been going on from there. And I still
That's dope.
More. And that's how we get into the birth of my nonprofit organization. It's a process because life is a process.
Right, definitely.
Things just play out how they play out. And, I went in there with the mindset that it's a process. It's going to be an organization that's geared towards helping the formerly incarcerated in their daily living tasks and activities.
Okay.
Because I figure if we cover that, then we're really covering a holistic approach. A lot of times people make these companies and they say, I'm going to help them get a job. That nigga may not be job ready. So you may not be with him at all.
You got to be able to prepare him to get a job, then give him a job. Right.
You understand? So I wanted to make sure we was given a well-rounded thing. And interestingly enough, that year I came home with like at least 10 people that I knew. Everybody had went back to jail but me.
Wow.
And I realized it was just the support, the lack of support. And I wanted to be
that matters.
Yeah, I wanted to be that support, and and it just took a life of its own, bro. It started with just me and like 2 other people, and now we got what I call change agents. That's what we are, even though I'm the founder, I don't run around saying I'm the founder and none of that. No, I'm a change agent like the rest of my squad, and we got change agents from here all the way to Jamaica, like literally Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh wow, y'all arms reaching long,
super long. You know what I mean? All across this country, literally, I'm supposed to be in Miami right now speaking in a halfway house. You know
That's
what I mean?
dope. So you move around a lot, talking in a lot of different places and stuff like that. Okay.
I've spoken in probably about 10, 15 cities already. I go
that's dope.
And like one of my main things was when I came home was I said I wanted to travel because we had all the money and the glitz and the glamour. We never went nowhere though. We just had all that on the block.
That's a fact.
I wanted to make sure that I was actually out seeing things, and I got a parole April 2016. It's 2021. I think I've been to like 9 countries and like 60 cities.
Oh, that's dope.
Right.
And so, how long you been a counselor? Now,
I've been a counselor since 2015, about 6 years.
Okay.
Well, now I'm not like a counselor. I'm a senior parole coordinator at the program.
Okay.
I actually do the liaison work. I'm the one that's talking to the parolees and the parole officers and making sure that everything is this, and then instructing the staff on how to deal with the population.
Okay.
So that's one of my jobs. So then my other job that you was talking about earlier is I'm a program manager for the Office of Second Chance Employment.
Right.
Now, this program is backed by Port Authority, and it's a nonprofit called CAO, which is the Council for Airport Opportunities. Okay. That was actually made because back in the days, there was nothing but white people working at the airport. So they created a nonprofit to bring in people from the community, because when you look at the airports, they're in our communities.
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have no say in what goes on in our community.
Nobody working there, right? It's crazy.
Right? So somebody had to know how like 50 years ago to say, we need to do this and we need to do that. So, they decided to put the second part, which is to help those that are formerly incarcerated get jobs at the airport that they don't have to do a background check. Because what people don't understand is, yeah, you see the terminals, but the airports, they own like mad property outside of there.
Yeah.
Like damn near sometimes 3-4 blocks away.
They
So
take over that whole area.
they have the opportunities, and we wanted to make sure that we was getting people those opportunities. And and I'm glad to say that actually tomorrow I make a year on the job.
Okay.
And even during this pandemic and stuff, I still was able to get people placed at the job. Even right now, we had one job opportunity where they gave us 10 positions that they said, okay, if you could fill those 10 positions, it's cool. I made sure that I vetted and went through each and every one of those resumes and spoke to those individuals before I forwarded their resume.
Right.
22 people started today.
That's
and it was only
dope.
supposed to be 10.
Right. That's
They
dope.
got so many good people. They was like, yo,
We'll
keep
take them.
sending them.
Yeah, that's dope.
And it's a difference between options and opportunity. Yeah, we all got options,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the opportunities there. And this is what I think as our jobs as individuals in our community, we got to create the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Even the kids know there's options.
Right.
The opportunity there.
Two separate things.
What two? Yo, it sound like they're closer than they really are. They're not.
They're really two completely different things. That's a fact.
So, we have these opportunities now. And, obviously there's still going to be some issues. And it's not just about the population, just in general. When you look at it about what's going on now, it's a whole damn pandemic. On top of being black, now I got to deal with Corona too. God damn.
He just can't win.
Give me a break. Like, what the hell? Like, yo, So it's just absolutely insane. You know what I mean? But our people are thriving, are pushing. I believe that what was meant to hurt us has brought us even closer together.
I like to think that too.
I believe that people are really coming, and that's why I have a for-profit business called Community Over Competition.
Okay.
So the idea is the fact that in the word community, there's unity. People scream community, but there's no unity. So bringing this together and having community over competition, it really has put everything to the forefront where we highlight Black-owned businesses, organizations, podcasts, all those things, where you go on Instagram and they like, pay me to promo. Come to my page. It's absolutely free. I will shout you out for absolutely free.
And I'm proof of that.
I will shout you out for absolutely free. And that's what we do, and a lot of people call me the Black Drip Ambassador because I buy everybody's stuff and I post it.
Yeah, I see you. I think you do like the book bag drive. I seen you post not too long ago.
You know what I mean? Like it's a bunch of different things that we did. That book bag drive in 2018. We actually did it in Kingston, Jamaica.
No, oh really?
Yeah. So I had a homegirl that she got deported because back in the days, her nigga and a couple of other people was in the car. They picked up from work, supposed to be dropping her to the crib. End up doing a drive-by on the way back.
Wow. And she got caught in the middle of it.
She got caught in the middle of it, and they deported her. You understand? So she hit me up when I came home, like, yo, Dre, this is this. I'm a teacher now in Jamaica. I see you doing a lot of positive things. You think we can? No doubt about it. Got on the horn. And the good thing that everybody knows me, they know me, I'm the network king. I'm always working with somebody. I'm always doing this stuff. And I tell people all the time, your network is net worth. I did that back to school drive with really no real actual cash, bro. Just we collected over 1,000 pounds of school supplies and got it to Jamaica for like $60.
That's crazy.
Just because of who we knew.
Right. Because sometimes it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Right. So, we got it over there. We did that. And, she started, I told her, I'm not big on creating more followers. I want to create more leaders. Start your own nonprofit and we're going to support you. So she started her own nonprofit and we opened up like a little closet over there. So whenever they running low,
you help them out, send something. That's dope.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
So, and that's what it's boiling down to. Community over competition ain't just your community. It's everywhere.
One hand wash the other, both wash the face.
Community is the love, my nigga. Like, that's just what it's boiling down to. And like I said, I've been blessed, bro. I've been blessed to really like. I was literally talking on the phone with somebody today because I said, "Damn, I got to get one of those trophy cases and stuff in the crib because I'm looking bad out here because we've been recognized." I think we got, I want to say probably close to like 30 awards already.
Yeah, I see that you just got something recently. You
Yeah,
posted you had got an award.
yeah, I got an award from Assemblywoman Alicia Hyman for the work that we do in the community and stuff like that. And that's just, we don't do it for the recognition, but it goes to help, people know who we are,
Right.
and it shows them to know where they can come and get that help. And I like that fact. I like the fact that people look at me and be like, that's the dude that anything reentry, they deal with him. I was the one that put in Queens Parole. I opened up a library/bookstore in the Queens Parole building.
Oh,
And I had
really?
people donate books, and I had books in there. So even if you was waiting on your PO, you can go and get a book. Or if you was on your way out, you can grab a book and go.
Wow.
Because a lot of dudes didn't want to go to the library because there was a lot of kids there, and they felt, uncomfortable. They like, it's not just it's not about like no sex crime. It's kind of like
Right.
I'm mad old. What I'm doing in here.
Yeah, in the library,
But
right.
a lot of people use the pass their time with reading. So why not allow them to read? So we got a whole bunch of self-help books. We had a library that was able to come in. It closed now, obviously, but I'm proud to say we gave out over 300 plus books to
That's
people
dope.
that they deem don't read.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
So y'all working, man.
Listen, I was doing a volunteer event for the parole building. Where we had what they had. We called it thinking for what is it? Thinking for life. It's a process, but it was pretty much what we did was my mentors had started it, and then I kind of like took over. And what they did was they identified gang members in Queens that was on parole, and we actually put them all in a room together.
Wow.
And we had discussions about different things, and majority of them didn't know that they was in different sets until it was far already into the group.
Right.
But
Okay.
it served this purpose because I remember talking to one dude and he said, yo, my man's was about to get it on with this other dude, but because we knew each other from the group, we was like, yo, y'all chill out.
Yeah.
And we might have spared a life, and that was the idea of it. You know what I mean?
That's
I told them,
cool.
with me, they like, yo, Dre, how could you, because what always threw them off was the supervisors at parole would come and get me when they had like a gang member while, and they'd be like, Dre, we know he's Crip, but he's not Crip like you.
Right.
Because it's not what you represent, it's how you represent it. And that's just everything. Is what does your representation look like? When people look at you, what do they say you stand for?
Right.
You know what I mean? And of course, yeah, obviously I'm Crip, but I'm also a member of the NAACP Jamaica branch. I'm also a counselor. I'm also a business owner. I'm also a black man, an uncle, a son. I got a whole bunch of different titles, and they all should be respected.
Right.
It shouldn't be respected because I have this job title.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? I was just in Miami a couple of days ago. I'm still me. You know what I mean?
I'm a man first.
Right. I'm still with the peoples. I'm still cooling. You know what I mean? And that's the only real way that we're going to bridge that gap. Because there's a series of gaps, right?
It really don't.
It's literally like when you think about those old ass houses, you know how you're going up the steps and some of the steps are missing? It's literally what's going on in our community. Because it's not only just the gang stuff, there's ageism, there's the dudes that don't have that mentality of actually protecting the black woman and stuff like that. There's
Right.
dudes that are going through this mental health, this economic strains, this, you know what I mean? There's so many different
a lack of information.
So what do? A lot of people always scream, "Oh yeah, black people need financial literacy." Nigga, we've been surviving off nothing. We pretty much
Forever.
We need more money.
Forever.
We need more money. I don't care how many ways you split 5 cents. That shit is still 5 cents.
At the end of the day. and it's super dope because like you just mentioned mentors. So like I don't think people understand like how important having mentors is to our community. To be able to have somebody that could lead you and guide you, because a lot of it is just having bad guidance too.
Yep. You're hitting it right on the head. The mentor is having somebody like, for me, I'm also a certified credible messenger. So a lot of people would like when I do speaking engagements, they're like, "Oh, you like a motivational speaker?" No. I'm a credible messenger. I'm able to tell my story without glorifying the negative aspects of it. You're still gonna feel me. You understand? And sometimes we got to tell the truth, and we got to make sure that the truth is out there, like you were saying. I think that with the mentoring, the biggest issue that I have with mentorships and even these little youth things that they have for the individuals is you work, right?
Yeah.
So if you was to work, if they put you on the shift for 5 days and you only worked an hour per day, you know what I mean? Would you be able to get your job done if you only worked an hour?
My job probably, yeah.
Mm,
Cause I'm an electrical helper.
mm,
So I do electrician work for the projects, night
right,
shift. And I work under an electrician.
right.
So like we work 8 hour days, sometimes 10 to 12 hour days, but our actual workload is like an hour, hour and a half.
All right. So
But
if
I get your point though.
right.
I get
So
what you're saying.
and this is what is going on with the mentoring piece. You meet with a kid for an hour a week and think that that's gonna make a change.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That nigga done forgot what you said before he even left.
And you got to gain his trust before you can get into his head.
What I was talking about beforehand, being persistent is how you get it, and being consistent is how you keep it. If you
Right.
really want to build that bond and stuff, you got to have some consistency, and the consistency is lacking, and that's lacking because of the money, and the money is lacking because of, you know what I mean. It just goes
It's like a,
on
yeah,
on and on
it's a
and on.
snowball
You know
effect.
what I mean? And the first thing people say is, "Oh, we need more community centers." Nigga, this is not good times. Them kids ain't going to that shit
Mm-mm.
anyway.
That's a fact.
You understand? Like, so it's like
It ain't like back in the days.
it's not the same, and people have to. And I did. You know, it's so crazy. Like even with the speaking stuff, even sometimes I just be so shocked about the speaking thing because I literally was speaking at a church service on Sunday. Somebody
Okay.
invited me to speak at the church service. They had like a men's type thing, and I explained to them my theory when it comes down to Wi-Fi and my metaphors. A lot of people don't understand. We look at Wi-Fi, we see how important it is.
Hmm.
You have to understand that that connection with individuals got to be the same way as your Wi-Fi. If it's not strong, it's gonna mess up.
Right.
If you got too many people on that modem, it ain't gonna run well.
That's a
And a
fact.
lot of people are being pulled in different areas and different places by people and all this stuff, and they can't figure out why they can't get right. Nigga, you can't get right because everybody tapped in.
And it's so easy to just to go the other way. Like,
You know, so it's what we literally looking to do is empower, man. I'm big on empowerment. I'm big on finding out what you want to do, and I'm big on letting you know that you don't have to do it all alone. I don't do this work alone. What are you crazy? I
right.
mean, my name might be on some of the awards and stuff like that, but I'll be a damn fool if I told you I did this alone. I got more support than people think. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just do that and just stay true to me. What I've found is that people get to a certain extent and then don't be true to themselves, and you see it just in the work, and you see it in the nonsense, and it's like when people come around me, they be like, "Yo, I don't know what he gonna say, man, but I know it's gonna be the truth." I'm glad you said that
Right.
because if I feel like I need to say something, I'm gonna say it. You know what I mean? So that's like one of the biggest issues. I was talking on a panel one day, and one of the politicians was in office for like damn near 30 years. And this nigga talking about the system. Bro, you've been there 30 years. You are the system. Everybody was like I said something wrong? Nigga, what? Like, what
But
you
you gotta
talking about?
but that's a shot though, because you been there that long, you play some type of part.
Come on, son. Come on. Accountability and responsibility. The sooner we get to that, the better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But sometimes, the people that's in control of making things better don't really want to make things better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're like with that, and this is why I kind of want you to get up here, because for one, I know you got valuable information that can help, but that you've been through some things. So sometimes people think, oh, he not from where I'm from.
Mm,
Like, you from where we from.
right.
Been through what we've been through.
Right.
When opportunities showed itself, you took full advantage of your opportunities.
Hmm.
And I think that's lacking in our neighborhoods.
Right.
Because some people get the opportunities and just don't take full advantage of them and
But
make the best out of the situation.
yeah, definitely. And I think it stems from a lot though. I think that it goes down to what I was talking about, an empowerment piece. We don't
Mm.
need to really be empowering each other. Even when I told people I was going to start this nonprofit, had I listened to people, it would have never happened. Nonprofit, what you know about that? You ain't gonna be able to do that. It's this, it's that. They ain't gonna accept you. You know how you are, Dre. This is this. The politicians ain't gonna rock with you. This ain't gonna rock with you. And here I am. Everybody rocking with us. You know, and if they don't, we still don't care. We still gonna get the work done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that reminds me of something I seen Jay-Z say at one point where he was like, people put their downfalls on you.
Mm-hmm.
They were like they couldn't do it, so they
Yep.
say you can't do it.
That's it. That's it. And what we've been falling victim to is passing down that doubt.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And the crazy part is we put that energy into other things. I had a discussion with my boy, and I told him that, nigga, it's not that you're not loyal. I said, no, I told him that you can't be, it's not that you're not loyal. It's just that you have misplaced loyalty. Sometimes we loyal to the wrong people and the wrong things,
truth.
right? And you don't realize it. And to the outside, to me, like I tell people, you don't look loyal to me if you ain't loyal to yourself. And loyalty to yourself is making sure that your surroundings is something where you can say, I'm proud of that. You can't tell me that you rocking with a dude, but you ain't really feeling the stuff that he's doing. Like there's people in my set. I don't talk to them niggas. How you gonna be a deadbeat and tell me you ride for me?
You ain't even taking care of your kids.
Nigga, what?
Priorities is all in the wrong places, man.
What? You know, but until we have these conversations, everybody like, oh no, he official. You ain't official if you ain't taking care of your kids.
Put some light on that.
You know, it's wild to me. You know what I mean? Niggas is abandoning their flesh and blood and gonna tell me I'm your people's. Get out my face. Get out my face. I don't even like when people lie to my face. Get out my face. You know what I mean? Like it's just wild, man. And right now, like just for me, it's just finding a balance. Because I'm the type that never back down from any type of battles and stuff. And now it's not about backing down from the battles. It's about the energy I was telling you about.
Right.
Not wasting your energy and stuff. Because understanding that, you know, if a person is where they at right now and they really not trying to hear you, you got to know when to cut that off. Otherwise, you're going to be jammed up. And the only person going to get frustrated is you.
You, right.
If me and you arguing and we both swinging our hands and shit from a distance, we both look like idiots. They can't tell who's the idiot. And I ain't trying to look like an idiot out here. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you got to keep all of these things into play. Like I said, consequential thinking. Obviously, everything that I say, people are not going to take well.
Right.
So you have to, you know, understand that factor as well. Because if they escalated, then I escalated, we both lose.
Right.
Community loses.
Only worry about what you can control.
Right. So I had to get to that point. I had to really get to the point of understanding that, you know, a lot of people, like I tell people, some people you could tell them, like a kid, you say, don't touch that, it burns. And there's some kids that's just gonna walk away.
Still
And some kids
that's gonna still touch it.
And those kids grow up to be adults. You understand? And they still out here touching shit. You understand? It's wild, man. It's
that's funny,
wild, man. But you know, like I said, you know, each his own. We can only do what we can.
Right.
Put that out there. You know, like I've been blessed to be put in a whole other situation, man. My life really changed for the better. I had a full scale mental breakdown in 2018 in June.
Okay.
Literally had me like paralyzed for like 6 months. Like I really couldn't even think properly. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And that's because I knew that I could be greater, but I was battling with the fact that what if you get to this point and somebody goes screaming like, don't listen to this nigga shot me. This nigga, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, do I really want to go there or do I want to stay in this medium stuff, right?
Okay.
And I've never been a mediocre dude, so it was a struggle.
Okay.
You know, and then with the job situation, I had did all this stuff to build it out, and then the director tried to pull some funny money stuff, and I had to check him. So it was just like, and I just quit everything, bro. And I swear to you, this is why it's important to have a strong woman, because my girlfriend at the time was there. And we working on the stuff, and she's just like, you know, whatever. And I'm doing like DoorDash and stuff like that. I'm like damn near homeless, like literally. Like I just left everything in the midst.
Just trying to make the ends meet.
Right. And then it hit me. I literally was sitting like probably in my other room over there. I'm like, I'm bugging the fuck out. Nigga, you done went to jail. You done gangbang with the best of them from this coast to that coast. And you over here sitting here acting like you are who you are. I had a conversation with my friend and she said, all they're going to be able to do is talk about either what you already did or what you doing, bro. That's just it. go out there and be great. And 2019, we got 26 awards.
That's dope.
I told the team, my bad, we back. Let's get it together. And we did that, and we motivated each other. And I'm glad to say that although I am making a lot of progress in my personal journey, all of my friends around me are like they're thriving.
And that matters.
And they're
You
like,
have around you.
yeah, and they're like, yo, Dre, honestly, like you put the pressure on us. We like, this nigga done came home and changed the world, and we've been here this whole time. Like, yo, we trying to figure out what's up. Like, nigga, like, what's going on? You know, so it like you said, it matters who you keep around you. Positive support networks is key. If you don't know what that is making sure that the people that are around you are positive. Not only being positive, thinking positive, and saying positive things. And not to the point where it's like, you know, illusion type shit. No.
Right.
Sometimes you got to really look at the positive stuff and understand where you came from. And sometimes you got to understand that you're allowed to have mood swings because you're a human being.
Right.
You know, and that's part of the process.
And it's going to be some bad days.
Gonna be some bad days, but it can be a whole bunch of better days as long as you stand, and do what you need to do. And that was my key. It was really getting that support and that energy from people around me, and them helping lifting me up, and then
Right.
and me lifting them up as well. And then we just took turns. We kind of, like I told them, it was like kind of like a susu of support. It was just like everybody had to put theirs in, so everybody got theirs. You know,
That's dope.
And that's what we did. And I got friends that are like in big places doing big things within the last 5 years. And I think all of us slowly realize like our own powers and who we really are. And what we did was, the conversations have changed.
Right.
Even when I came to the hood, it was kind of like, oh shit, we can't talk about that regular stuff now. Yo, Dre, what's up with the job?
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. I don't want to hear none of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, and I think that we had to really get into the mindset of really, like I said, just having those conversations. Like I told him, like I had a friend that actually, like, this is like my boy, like my close friend.
Right.
I ended up being his counselor.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Right. So I ended up being his counselor and stuff. And we was having this discussion and we talking. And I told him, this is so funny because before incarceration, we would have these discussions. It'd just be over liquor and weed. But so many people are against therapy, not knowing that they go to therapy all the damn time.
Just kicking it with the homies.
You know what I mean? So it's like, putting it into that, like, niggas was like, this nigga right. Yeah, because we always used to come sit there. I said, bro, you already know you going through it with your shorty. You know you're going to hit my line. I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Let's link up.
Right. When I went to school, I learned the different therapies. I learned motivational therapy. I learned cognitive therapy and what they do and how you have to use certain things with certain people.
Right.
Just put my own twist on it.
Make it your own.
Right. So I'll tell you, for instance, as a counselor, one day the PO called me and said, Dre, if you don't get this kid to stop smoking, this dude to stop smoking weed, I'm going to lock his ass up. I'm sick of this. He think because he's doing this, he can stay out and just smoke weed. No, that's not how it works on parole. Call him in, yo, da-da-da-da. Yo, he's like, but I'm working. I'm going to school. Yeah, that sounds really good. But you're doing something that can get you locked up. Matter of fact, this is what we're going to do. Write down all your accomplishments you accomplished since you came home. You wrote them down, as much as he could remember.
Right.
Like, come on, we're going outside. Like, going outside? I'm taking him outside. The director looking at me like, what the fuck? Where you going? Mind your business, bro. We handling business here. Yes, I said, you got a lighter? Like, I know you got a lighter, nigga. You put on a lighter. I took the paper that he had all the accomplishments up. I
just lit it up.
That shit up and lit it. I said, smoke it. This is what you're doing. You smoking your accomplishment. Smoke that shit. He stopped smoking.
Sometimes you got to break it down for people to understand, and everybody ain't going to understand it the same way.
And that's why I tell people a lot of times we talking to apples, people, and oranges. You understand? Like, we got to, if you want to speak the language, and one day I was talking and we was talking about the language and stuff because a white dude from parole in Long Island, he retired. He was just like, I be kind of saying the same things. How come they don't feel me? So the dude was just like, oh, that's because you don't speak our language. And he's like, well, what language is that? I said, least struggle, nigga.
Just something you can't understand.
You can't understand that, bro. Like, and I'm not naive to think that nobody that hasn't gone through it can't support you, but there's
Right.
certain things that you need to learn as far as tools to do that. Because I've seen them run that game on some of the counselors that we bring in. You know, they may not have that background to do like, oh yeah, you don't know none of this. You ain't never been to jail. Which
Right.
I ask them, I say, you know, God forbid your mom got cancer and she needs an operation. You gonna go into the doctor and be like, did you ever had cancer before? No, get the hell away. You don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
What the hell are y'all talking about here? People were set in these places specifically for you.
Right.
You know, now I can give you these tools, but I can't make you use them.
I could
And
take you to the river, but I can't make you drink.
right, and what I learned, especially like when I was in prison, I was around a lot of the old timers, and you know, after I finally calmed down, and they really kind of put a lot of stuff in perspective to me. And the old timer was telling me one day, he was just like, "Listen, you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're gonna get a haircut." And he walked off. I'm like, "Babe, what the fuck this old nigga talking about now?" And I looked around, and he was right. I was with some slum bums. You know what I mean? Even though
It's
we
a
was
matter of
in the
time.
yard, you know what I mean? Those are some slum bums. And then one of the second thing that he told me that I always say in a lot of my speeches is slow motion is better than no
No
motion.
motion. Whoo.
Have to. We have to understand that. We have to understand that we're chipping away at the unknown.
Sometimes things ain't gonna move at your speed.
Bruh. Who you telling? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, getting that and getting people to understand that that was my main goal. Like, you know, I don't want to just come out here and speak hope. I want you to see it.
Right.
You know,
Because they gotta see it to believe it.
and that's why I invest in everything that I do. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking back, like the stuff that I have contracts with. I got contracts with the library where I teach that train their staff. I did a training for their staff about gang awareness training that they love. You know what I mean? I did another training for their staff about how to deal with people in the population and stuff like that. You know, I'm finishing up tomorrow. I got a gig with them. I'm finishing up a 6-week series where it's called Justice Without Barriers, and they have people come on and we talk about issues that plague this second chance population,
Right.
and they bring people on. You know what I mean? And it's like I was telling my mom, like, Mom, I think this shit getting kind of real now. Like,
And Dre, you know what's the dopest part to me? Like, it's you doing this really all in a short time, accomplishing so much. Cause it sounds like this is like all like in a 5-year span, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because you say you've been a counselor for what, 2 years?
No, I've been a counselor
For 6 years.
coming up on 6 years.
Right. So like from going to school, like you getting a lot done, bro. Like,
and that's what I was telling you. It was kind of like, yo, I knew that I can take it to the next level, but I didn't want to because of the fear, because of the doubt, because of this. And once you shake, people are literally one fucking conversation about fear away from being the greatest that they'll ever be. And we got,
and sometimes that's like people got that fear of getting off the corner. What the homies is gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's crazy.
Same shit they say when you locked up. Nothing. They don't even receive you. They don't write you. It's all a fake. You understand? You spend your time. It's so ironic to me that to be the man in the street, you got to do things that at the end, you either going to be dead or in jail. You won't even be in the street. The ultimate prize of being the man in the street is not being able to be on the street.
You playing craps with your life.
We ain't got no time for that, man. Don't waste your energy, man.
Tomorrow's not promised to no one.
Don't waste your energy, my people. It's not even worth it. Trust me. Speaking from experience, that prison stuff, that jail stuff, that street stuff. A lot of people are addicted to the lifestyle. Right? So we have this addiction to this lifestyle, and that's why you'll see a nigga, you be like, nigga, you out there all day, what you doing, selling the money? You ain't never got no money. Certain people just like the mix. They just like to be around it. I don't care. You know, my man's is lit, so I'm lit.
Right.
Go, what? You know what I mean? What are you talking about? Certain people are just addicted to the lifestyle. You know what I mean? And we talk about these things, and that's why I have these different conversations, and I do these mentoring things, and I talk to kids. And like I have I won't say a contract, but I speak to these kids once a month that have had some type of justice involvement that are in foster care. And we have real life conversations, you know what I mean? And we talk to them, and you know, I do these little different exercises. One of my favorite exercises to do with the kids is I call it signs, right? Okay. So I'll ask them, what's a street sign look like? What's a bathroom sign look like typically? Because shit is wild, man.
Right, right.
Right. But what the NBA sign look like, all types of stuff. What the MTA sign look like. And I said, oh, so you guys know all those signs like the back of your hand. Tell me the signs of the people you need to stay away from.
Mm.
So then I put a empty stop sign and I write it in whatever they're saying. Because we have to make these things as relatable as possible. I wasn't a big fan of math, but I use it a lot of times when I speak. My favorite thing is common denominator. I just couldn't understand that shit for the life of me until I got older.
Right.
Dre, you know what's the common denominator every time you got in trouble? Liquor, weed, and these bum ass niggas you chilling with. Those are the common denominators. So it's like we have to have these conversations.
You got to have honest conversations.
We got to make these things relatable so people can understand it. We got to make sure that we talk about the consequential piece. We got to make sure that they know where the support is. They know where the resources are at. A lot of people are like, oh, the at-risk youth. Nigga, they only at-risk because they under-resourced.
Right.
Don't call them at-risk. They under-resourced. At-risk sounds like you're already putting a criminal label on them.
Right. Right. Trying to make it sound good, though.
We're not going to romanticize these forms of slavery that they have. Call it what it is. These kids are underprivileged and underfunded, under-resourced, and then y'all like, well, why aren't they making it? Nigga, have you been into any of these schools?
Nope. And those are the people with the people with the judgment.
They got more metal detectors than books in schools. Like, so it's like, where we at now? What are we looking to do? And that's why I think it's important that, I even ran, you're right. There's a lot that happened. I even ran a voting campaign for those that got their rights back for voting, where we signed them up.
Oh, wow.
So, this is, and we did that. I think we did Brooklyn, Harlem, Queens. We did it in a couple of boroughs. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
People, and we got people to sign up and get registered to vote. And, I don't know why I got to vote. I don't even vote for the president. Yeah, I know. It's electoral college vote. You know who those people are? You vote for the people that vote for the president. So you do vote for the president, nigga. And we're going to break this down. And I'm going to explain it to you. And we're going to do this. You know what I mean? And just making these pushes, man, making these strides. If voting wasn't important, why'd I catch a gun charge but I lose my right to vote? Nigga, what that got to do with voting?
Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with it.
We have to look at these things. I looked it up because before I do anything, I'm always looking up stuff. I looked at the voting thing, and you were allowed to vote with a felony up until a certain amount of time. And then they realized, like, oh, we can use this to block out some people from voting. And then all of a sudden, mass incarceration started. Slavery. And bam, here we are. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
And we have these numbers, like, and we have these things. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, he went to jail. He's going to go back. And,
yeah, it's almost like they expect the cycle to just keep going on and going on.
Recidivism rate is at 78%. It's been that way. We know that, right? The crazy part about it is we got to dig deeper into the numbers. Only 9% of people go back for new charges, Mel. 91% of the people that go back for technical violations, curfews, programs, things of that.
Wow.
It gets real, right? 83% of the people that get arrested are under some type of influence. 40% of the people that get arrested for violent crimes are under the influence of alcohol. And there's more liquor stores in our community than
anything else. Every other corner.
So we have these numbers, we have these facts, and we're still like,
and real talk, bro,
one of the first, hold on, wait, you know what's one of the first essential businesses? You know, one of the first essential businesses that they mentioned that will remain open was the liquor stores?
No, facts.
I wonder why.
And now look how you broke that information down, right? With the percentages. Now, just imagine how many people don't know these numbers.
Yeah.
These things that you're willing to look up that people really just don't know.
And they're there, and they're
and it's there for you to find. Like, it's not hard to get to.
They're there. You know, it's even crazier. The average kid has their first arrest around 15, 16 years old in this country.
Okay.
The average kid also has their first drug or drink of choice around the same age. We have those numbers. We have these things. We have all the shit that I told you. and there's still no real actual treatment for adolescents as far as regarding prevention of alcohol. We had what, the DARE program back in 1962. You understand? Like, we have these numbers, bro. We have what they do to us. We have what they do to people, and then we're like, ah, ah. No, a lot of people are looking to place blame, put the blame where it needs to be. You
And
understand?
those that are in charge have these numbers too, and they just feeding us more.
I said these numbers on a call with a senator, and you know what he said? That's funny. That is around the age that I drank. That was his only response. Not like, what can we do about this?
Right.
No.
How can we stop that? Well, let's come up with some solutions.
And they're like, who you, Trey, we got all these people working against us. Yes, we have a lot more people working against us than you think. You understand? It's so much going on. It's so much deeper than a lot of people think. And I just want to make sure that people have it. You don't believe me? Look them numbers up. You ain't
That's
gotta believe me.
yeah, like it's
Google
not
it.
hard to find.
Yeah, you don't believe me? Google it. You know what I mean? You got to know what you're looking for. You got to know that you got to go into the DOJ, which is Department of Justice, and you can go in there and you can get these same statistics that I showed you. We can try to decipher why after 8 years, 70% of the people go back to prison. What's happening after the 8th year of being home? How does that work? What could it possibly be? A lot. You understand? You know what I mean? So it's what we have now is the lack of understanding of information, right? So people always like communication is the key.
Mm,
We can communicate and not understand each other.
right.
You understand?
Comprehension
You
is the
gotta
key.
have the comprehension piece, you know? So yeah, communication is one of the keys, but it ain't gonna get you all the way to the top door. I'm glad you know how to
Communication is pointless if you don't understand what we're talking about.
So we have to stop, and that's what I was telling, like, even when I did because I know I do career days and stuff with the kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
I break down everything, even from, like, because they're always asking me about drugs and stuff, and I'm talking to them, and I told them, like, the kid was like, oh yeah, the weed, my friend said that weed makes them focus, stuff like that. And then the teacher said, oh, that's in his head. I said, it's actually not. Believe it or not, in school they teach us that weed does help you focus, and the reason why it helps you focus is that it actually, your brain is made up of three parts, and weed, what it does is slows down two of those parts,
So
right?
one part is in.
So the part that's really still pumping, guess what, is the part that helps you focus, right? So people are not lying. It does help them focus. The issue is that your brain doesn't fully develop until 24, 25 years old. So if you're slowing down two parts of your brain from 12, by the time you get to 25,
You ain't even getting the full potential of your.
but we have these numbers now. This is what they taught me. I ain't making this up for you.
That's crazy, yo.
Which is why I do what I do. You know what I mean? Which is why I do what I do, and I put that out there, and I make sure that I come on these kind and have these conversations so that you can do what you do. You know what I mean? Take this information what you will. I ain't telling you that you gotta come jump aboard and do, no. Whatever you find near and dear to you, you maximize that. You work on that, and that's what I always encourage people. Because, like I said, we just
Right.
empowering people. This fight ain't gonna be alone. You know what I mean? We got plenty of work to do right now. We're working on all different types of things. I'm part of all different types of coalitions. Even with a lot of the jail stuff, the Halt Solitary. We're glad about that, where they actually found out that sending people to the box is really a bad idea. How could you put a human in a box for 23 hours a day and think that that does nothing to their mental? I don't even understand how we got this far. There was nobody that thought that seems kind of cruel. Nobody, just me and you, Mel. These niggas is on drugs, man.
That's crazy. But Jay, now I'm glad you actually brought the jail thing up.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to give a little more information as far as like helping like the second chance people.
Right.
Like if somebody just came home and they want to get involved, or they're looking for work or need the tools.
Right. So
Like
they can
give them some of the programs and some of that stuff.
There's numerous programs that you can use depending on where you're coming home from. FortuneSociety.org is actually one of the biggest reentry programs. They have the biggest contract in the city, right? They actually provide housing for those that do over 25 years. They have all types of programs. All the programs are free. They give you a Metro card to get there, and you can get lunch and dinner because they have a culinary school where you can actually take them. CEO Works is another program. CEO Works is a program that's a work readiness program where they actually pay you by the day. So you call in, they tell you where to report, you do that, you know what I mean? That helps you build your resume, fill in that gap, things of that nature.
Get you some experience.
Right. Exodus Training Transitional Community does the same thing as Fortune Society. Um, there's a bunch of different organizations. Even when, you know, with our organization, with the with it's a process. We have a bunch of different resources that I send when people contact me. I send those resources out. You know what I mean? So that you can provide that. There's numerous opportunities out here. The thing is, right now with this pandemic, a lot of these things are
Mm.
virtual, and that has taken away the real support that some people are
Yeah,
coming.
because everybody can't. Yeah, I get
There
it.
are people. Listen, we got people that I work with that when we went virtual, niggas retired. You understand? Like, hey, like, well, I'm just not doing it. You know, that's where we at. It's not like it's just something that you have to learn. You know, this
Right.
technology stuff is something that you have to learn. Do you have the opportunity to learn something different? I helped the Queens Library do a grant. I did consulting work with them to write a grant. You know, in Queens right now, they run a grant with the Queens Library. 25 people, whether if you just came home or you've been home at least 2 years or under, where they actually provide them with a free cell phone, a free tablet, and on these things they have information and trainings and stuff. And it's a pilot program. It's to see how it works with people like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of different things that's going on here. You just have to be aware, because that's my biggest issue. A lot of these things that are supposed to be supporting, they don't really have that reach. You know what I mean? For one reason or other, because a lot of people, they'll have one bad experience and then go right off the whole company. No,
Right.
tell the whole truth. Tell them that you barely came to that motherfucker and they kicked you out. It's okay. We could be honest here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of different things that you know, the library is one of the greatest resources ever right now. You go on queenspubliclibrary.org, you can learn Spanish for free. You can learn administrative work for free. You can learn basic technology one-on-one for free. The library has in Queensbridge, they have their own library where it's a tech library for the formerly incarcerated. They will teach you how to do video production. They will teach you how to create 3D designs. All of this for free. For free. You understand? So there's so many different resources. I have a whole host of resources depending on what you're looking for, whether it be the construction stuff, whether it be mentoring, whether it be trying to get into school for counseling, you know, things of that nature. We can support you. And if you can't reach out to me for whatever reason, you can reach out to it. You can actually literally just Google stuff. You just got to know what you're looking for. You understand? If you don't know it, I know it's a little difficult, especially if you're just coming home. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure somebody in your home knows something. If
Right.
not, find Mel. He knows something. Then when you watch
Definitely.
this, you probably know how to use it then. So, you know, and that's the main goal, is making sure that we have these resources and this information out there. Because there's a lot of
Definitely.
things that are available right now, especially with all the social justice going on. A lot of these white people feeling guilty, so they put money into all types.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we need to take advantage of this and grow and glow. You know, like that's realistically what it is. Right now, I'm working on a whole bunch of little side projects. I'm putting a documentary together. Um, I'm doing a lot of different speaking engagements and you know, just really pushing the envelope and making sure that, you know,
That's what's up.
that the reach goes far and beyond.
That's
Actually,
dope.
ambassador for a Chicago nonprofit organization that helped with reentry. I did work in New Orleans. I did work in ATL, Miami. I did work in California with LATTC, which is a college that they do a lot of work supporting those that are coming home. You know what I mean? I done sat with some of the big wigs out there at LA, and you know, just everywhere we go, we make sure that people understand that we just here to help. And
That's
that's
dope.
why I did, like, when I started traveling, I said, you know, I'm gonna do this a dual purpose. So now when I travel, when I go to places, I literally Google the reentry program, and the first one that pops up, I call them and tell them that I want to speak to their population and get them.
Okay. That's dope.
Because I don't want this to just be a New York thing. And
Right.
thank God it
Because
has
everywhere needs help.
everywhere, and community is everywhere. So we want to make sure, like I said, we pushing that envelope, getting people the support that they need, and just, you know, really doing that and putting it together. So, you know, if you're hearing, if you're looking out for information, you can definitely follow me and link up with me.
Yeah, I was about to say, give them some information so they can reach out to you. If anybody got any questions or anything, I always know you're willing to help. So
That's not any question, man. Listen, you can go on the website, it's a process.org. You can go on the Instagram, it's a process underscore org. You can go on our other Instagram dedicated to with the letter to the process. A couple of underscores in there, but the fastest one to find is it's a process, and then we can go from there. And I'm always posting up different information. I just posted up today about some of the people that are coming home. People don't realize that even though you was incarcerated, you were still supposed to get those stimmies too. They got checks for you. Every check they gave out is yours. Every check. You understand? So make sure that you get that information and go out there and get them checks. You know what I mean? And if you're feeling good in your heart, send me PC. I ain't playing with you.
yo, Dre, bro. I want to thank you for pulling up, man. You did far beyond what I expected. I knew you had a lot of information to give. It was you gave some real valuable information. I just hope they listening and somebody decides to take you up on all of this information you gave up. I really hope people reach out to you with questions or whatever to just to get that information because we really lack information.
That's a fact.
And even we, you know what I mean? Everybody don't got good intentions, but there's some people out there that's really trying that really just don't have the information. That if they had the information, they would make things happen. And I'm really hoping that through this right here, some people reach out and you're able to help them get what they're trying to get because you're doing a lot of great things. And everything you post, I'm sharing. Because I know it could be valuable to somebody. If it can't help me, it can't help the next person. It's valuable to somebody. So before we sign out, any last words you have, like you just want to put out there before we go?
Well, listen, man, I definitely appreciate you for bringing me on. Like I tell people,
I appreciate you.
Turn down these opportunities. It's just about the schedule. I know we were supposed to be
That's always an issue, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it get crazy, but like I was saying, we here to support you. Make sure that you follow us. I'm always down to do speaking engagements and stuff, paid, unpaid. It don't even matter. Tell you the truth. What we really looking to do is make sure that people have this information. This is key. We got to, and I don't just help. Just our organization is not just about the population, the second chance population. I've helped people that never done any time or been arrested get job opportunities and things like that. Just because of my network. My network is super strong. If you want to get into anything from politics to the hospital, if I don't know somebody, I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? And that's just what we do. We make sure that we support each other. And what I really want people to focus on, especially right now, is to love yourself. Self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? The self-awareness brings out self-management. And the better that you're able to manage you, the better that you're able to manage the things around you. A lot of people are like, yo, I can't, get this together. I always tell people, if you don't protect your peace, you're going to end up in pieces. Hear me clear. All right. So I appreciate this, man. I'm here. Holla at me, man.
Dre,
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Definitely. So, that's our show for the week. I want to thank everybody for pulling up. I want to thank my guest, Dre. Love is love, bro. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all follow him. Y'all can follow me on the Instagram, at the M3L podcast. The same thing for Twitter. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We out of here. Love is love. Peace.